Yo, 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 hello and welcome along. I'm Rory from Giraffe Head Studios, and that felt weird saying that and not Rate My Funeral. I'm so used to saying, that was rape by the way, but welcome along to the first ever Giraffe Head Studios podcast. I'm hoping everything is working all right. Gone to a lot of effort to try and make sure everything works all right, but you never know, right? So anyway, as I say, welcome along. First ever Giraffe Head Studios podcast. We're planning to do about 2 of these a month. Should go on for about an hour or so. And we will be typically covering progress of our game, which is to be announced. And also we'll be kind of looking at indie game dev industry topics and stuff that we think is interesting. We're also going to be kind of looking at various different areas that maybe we don't know so much about yet, just to try and learn. And we're also going to be inviting on specialists from the industry. So game devs, people in marketing, all of that kind of stuff. We'll invite people on, which is today's guest is really exciting. We've got Big Poppa, who's the creator behind Kumome, which is a really cool mobile app which is about to launch. So we'll be catching up with him in a little while. So we'll be talking about all of this kind of wonderful, fun game dev related stuff in the indie area, and generally having a bit of a giggle while we do it. So you've got myself and you have Steve over there. So let's just start with me. Just a quick introduction, as it's the first episode. I suppose I should really introduce myself. My name is Rory. I run the YouTube channel Rate My Funeral. That was Rate, by the way. And I've been on there for about 12 years doing tutorials on 3D animation, reviewing 3D print and scanning technologies, and also doing animations themselves. With the most successful and the kind of most interesting for me, at least, was the Ragdoll physics animation stuff, which is all cool. As well as this, I have created and released 2 games on Steve with a very talented dev friend. The first one was a VR horror kind of escape the room game called Stockstind House, which was my sort of first foray into actually doing something as a game with VR, and it was a lot of fun. Learned an absolute ton whilst working on that one, and got it released and out there, which was quite a challenge and an achievement at the end of the day. So then following Stockstind House, then released another game which was kind of like it's a first-person walking sim meets point-and-click adventure. It's all narrative-driven and really kind of interesting, not horror but psychologically intriguing game. And called Who Is Abby? And fun fact, I did the voice for the lead character, and I recorded over 3,500 lines of dialogue in a slightly dodgy American accent. So that's kind of how I got to where I am with it all now. And now we've set up a sort of new development studio with my good pal over there, Steve, and we're working on a brand new project that, as I mentioned, will be officially announced properly on the 18th of Feb. Plenty of clues. I reckon you'll probably figure out what it's likely to be, but the official announcement will be from the 18th. Steve, I've done a lot of talking already. We've only just started.
You have, yes.
I reckon.
A great deal of talking.
I reckon it's got to be your turn by now, right?
Yeah, I'm the guy in the corner, not saying much. No, I'm Steve, and I've teamed up with Rory to form Giraffe Head Studios. I've been friends, sort of background story really is, I've been friends with Rory for around about 15 years. We've actually been playing in a band together with our bandmates Gabe and Chris in a band called Fugal for the last 14 years or something like that. Me and Rory have have had a very close relationship, close friendship over the years, and therefore we've spent a lot of time talking about all things game, technology, and I've been quite heavily involved with conversations with Rory on all of this. So this sort of come about in late last year, October, November time, where Rory was looking for a kind of bit of a fresh start, and I said to him, why don't we put something together, and I could bring a bit of finance, a bit of funding to a game, and that's probably one of the areas that Rory struggled in with his other two games, with Stocks in House and with Who Is Happy, is trying to market it properly to get it out there, and that's where I thought that I could come in. My background is purely business, and I've been running a successful company for the last 13 years with my business partner Martin. So I've got quite a lot of experience with what it takes to get a new startup up and running, and also all of the challenges that come with running a business. So yeah, that's me. That's my background. Since November, I've been learning everything and anything to do with gaming and game development, to try and bring me up to speed. Nowhere near Rory's huge knowledge base, but hopefully I can hold my own. Over to you, Rory.
No, thank you for that. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? You never really... I never know quite how to respond to compliments and so on. But anyway, whatever. So here we are. As I say, this is the first of the podcasts that we're planning to do. Going to try and get a few of these out. Going to come up with some interesting ideas, I think, for topics. I'm going to set Steve challenges for things he needs to find out and come on and tell us about, things he's learnt. Going to talk a little bit about sort of gaming news, things that are big in the industry. Like I say, we're going to talk a little bit about our own project. Something that's really cool and exciting is that I've been working on the devlog videos for our project, and when we'll be starting to release those devlog videos from the 18th, but I've actually done quite a few already. We're quite a bit further along than where those will show, but obviously I couldn't sort of share it just yet. So it's going to be very interesting, especially now when I look back at those earlier videos, just to see how far we've come. And in terms of what we're doing, we've got an absolute top man on board that is taking care of the heavy lifting on the development side of things, because there's a few gaps in my knowledge when it comes to very, very detailed programming. So we've got an absolute legend in that's helping us build this game, and really, really excited to start sharing it. But can't quite just yet. It's not quite the date, but it's all fine. It's all fine. The stuff will come. What do you reckon, Steve? How are we doing for time? Because I think we've got a little bit of time before Yannis joins us.
Yep.
What's on your mind at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's what I've seen over the last few months is, and I'm sure all game developers out there can relate to this, is how difficult it is to get an idea, or discussion, which is what me and Rory have had with regards to our exciting new project, to get it from an idea into a reality is incredibly challenging, and we will face many more challenges to get to the point where we are releasing this game. And it's an incredible journey that you have to go on to be able to get a game from the ground up into a game that you can hopefully get onto Steam and fully release.
So in terms of the actual, you joining in the whole game industry side of things, and you know, being a, let's say, noob. I don't think it's unfair to say a noob in the gaming space.
I am a noob.
You know, what's the sort of thing that you're finding kind of the most difficult?
I would say it's all to do around the technical side of things, just because I'm on a very steep learning curve with regards to all of that. What Rory does, he makes it look very easy, even though it's incredibly technical and challenging. You know, I've been following a lot of game development on X especially, and you can see the technical level that people have to go to get a game that's going to appeal to people, where they're going to want to spend some money to buy your game. So yeah, I mean that's a real challenging side for me to learn and get a good understanding.
So, well, what are you finding the most entertaining so far then?
Oh, without a doubt, I like the entertaining side is all of the kind of conversations that we have. There's lots of detailed discussions that we have all the time about the direction that we're going to take, and whether this looks right, how we can tweak it, how we can adjust the very, very fine detail to try and get the best possible version out there. And that's been a lot of fun. It's a real brain teaser.
Oh, good. Well, good. Yeah, because obviously I'm glad you're excited. One of the things that was, you know, worrying me in the early days was obviously you coming into it, you know, a bit. What's the word? A bit. I was going to say bit green. Is that? Yeah, that is
green.
Right, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I love the colour green. Spent years in it.
Yeah. So, like I say, one of the things was, you know, would it be too overwhelming for you? Would you, you know, get sick of it pretty quickly? Because yeah, I mean, in fairness, it's one of these things. I always find this quite interesting. I had this with, I see this with the 3D animation stuff. When you're engrossed in something for forever, for many years, you completely forget the absolute simple stuff because it becomes also second nature. And then obviously coming into it fresh, you know, it's all of these things are new, and like I say, I see it all the time when you watch certain people do like tutorials on things, and they just gloss over the real basics because obviously in a lot of cases, you know, people don't need that. But if you're coming in completely fresh, all those little gaps really add up quite quickly. So yeah, that's just something I find quite fascinating, and again, it's been a challenge for me to ensure that, you know, I make when I'm communicating with you and explaining stuff that I try not to gloss over those little areas that, you know, I could be easily taken for granted. But at the same time, you know, there's plenty of gaps in my own knowledge anyway. So it's just a fun journey all round, right?
Yeah, it's very true. I'm ready for a fresh challenge. You know, I'm already a busy guy running one business on a day-to-day basis. But I really wanted a fresh challenge, something new to learn and to get to really get stuck into. And I like to learn and I like to develop myself. So there's quite a lot of personal development going on here for me. But you're right. Yeah, I think when you're immersed in this all the time, it is very easy to assume that someone else already knows. Whereas actually, I really don't. Although I am learning, and you know, I expect over this journey that we're doing with this exciting project that we're working on, I will, by the time we get the end of it, I would have learned a huge amount along the way. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a really exciting journey.
And what excuse me, what have we got? We've got there's something coming up, isn't there? There's a show coming up that we're going to, isn't there? What one are we going to?
Yeah, we're going to the. There's a couple. There's the Guildford Game Show that I'm going to this Friday with my son Jack, where we're going to go and do a little bit of networking. And then me and you have got 2 days in London in April at the London Game Show. Again, where we've got the special passes, so we can go and sit and chat with industry leaders.
We could go and schmooze with the bigwigs.
we actually are going to go smoozing with bigwigs. Yes, it says that on the ticket. Smooze away is what it says in the terms and conditions. Yeah, so looking forward to that. And of course, we would have announced the project by then.
Yes,
and we'll be fully immersed in getting the word out there.
Yep.
So it'll be a great opportunity to network.
I'll tell you, that is one of the things that I'm finding the hardest at the moment. Is obviously we're in this phase at the moment where everything is all about setup, right? It's about building foundations and putting in literally a ton of effort just to create all this stuff, which currently is not going anywhere because it's blocked by this date. So yeah, that's one of the things that I'm struggling with on a creative side is I really want to start getting all the stuff out there, start getting the feedback. As I mentioned it before, the devlog stuff. I'm absolutely loving filming those devlogs, like so that doing the YouTube stuff for years, and I when I get right into doing a video, I absolutely love it. But it's one of those as well where I kind of normally I have to G myself up to sort of to get in there and start doing it. But I have to admit with these devlogs, because every single time there's been a new development, there's been something new to kind of share and show. There's just been constant updates, and the latest one that literally is ready for me to do to film the next one. Again, it's really good. It's a huge feature. So yeah, for me, it's all about waiting to actually start getting the stuff out there. There's also the trailer, which I think was probably probably 4 weeks of effort, almost every night for a very long time, building this trailer, and I can't show it until the 18th. But anyway, it's definitely going to be.
It's good.
It's going to be worth it, worth the wait. I hope
it's very good.
Have I hyped it up enough yet? Do you reckon that works?
I think you're getting there. We can't say much more other than I'll be surprised if you're not impressed.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. We've got a couple of teaser trailers. We've got all details about the game. Got all new website and everything all built around that as well. One quick point as well. So I've put the barcode on the screen there just to make it that little bit easier. Or you can go to ragdollphysicsexperiments.com. And you can, if you sign up to the mailing list, you get a free download of a sticker pack, a GIF sticker pack, which basically gives you the ragdolls either in silly, funny situations, waving and whatnot, that you can use in the likes of Discord and WhatsApp and all that. So there's a nice little freebie. So yeah, do make sure you go and check that out if you can. And also, obviously, this is YouTube. Well, the video's going out on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying it and want to support us, and if you subscribe, then you'll see whenever we put these up. You'll also see when the devlog videos go up. Should be going up about 2 of those a week, with these going out about 2 a month, and there'll be other little bits and pieces in between as well. So yeah,
be very much appreciated, obviously, if you can like and subscribe. It always helps. Everybody always says it, but it's true.
As well,
it really
it's
does
one of those
help.
things. It's one of those things as well. That it is known to increase the number of people if you actually say it, even if you don't want to. And that's why people say it, even at the start of a video before they've even done anything, they'll say like and subscribe, because it does increase it. So,
and it makes a big difference. And
exactly.
the more people we get, the better.
So, let me just check my good friend Yannis. Has he joined our group yet? Let me just move that out of the way for a moment. He's not joined yet. So, obviously this is again, This is the
Have
first
to pan
time.
out a little bit.
This is the first time doing this, so yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve here. I've gone with a slightly overcomplicated setup for the first one, and I've realised I've made a mistake. So yeah, in the chat, thank you very much everybody for letting us know that Steve-O was a bit echoey. I've realised why, and the reason is because of the fact that Steve is in the Google Meet that Yannis will be joining.
Just to make things really complicated.
And that's why. So yeah, he is here. He's there in the lobby. I'm going to bring him in. We can't see you just yet, mate. Bear with me.
Can we hear me?
I'm hoping so. I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can hear Yannis?
Chat, please tell me, can you hear Yannis?
Wait, let me go look at the chat on my phone. I'll tell you right now.
Let me see.
Live.
I'm just.
No, this is the trailer. I am silly.
Why can I not make you full screen? I want to make you full screen.
I would love to be full screen, even though I don't know if your viewers want me in full screen.
Spotlight. There we go. Right. Boom.
There we go.
There he is.
Am I there?
You are there. Welcome
there.
along to the podcast. This is
Hello, everybody.
this is very special because you are literally the first of the guests.
Number one, baby.
So
Number one.
you are number one, and
Welcome.
and I'd say it's well deserved because of where I know you from was a while back now, but when I released Who Is Abby, you interviewed me.
Yes, exactly. Oh, how the tables have turned.
But yeah, so
I'm on the electric chair now.
and it's
Be careful.
it's awesome because I think I said to you at the time, like, one day I'll repay you the favor for you. So
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful.
made it happen.
I'm very thankful.
And no, very very pleased to have you on. Thank you very much. So you are the creator of the mobile app called Kumome.
Exactly.
Or Kumome. I always struggle with trying to make sure I say it right.
I've been struggling with it too, to be honest. At this point, I'm not even sure what I call it.
Kumome.
But
Kumome. Officially, it's Kumome.
Kumome.
But
Kumome.
It's a long story actually as to how I got the name. If you guys have 10 seconds, if you want to hear it.
No, please.
Absolutely.
Tell us.
So originally I got stranded in France during COVID. I was supposed to renew my visa for China, and they locked the borders. So I was like, you know what? I'm here. I'm gonna launch a company, and you guys, you have to promise not to mock me, okay? It was supposed to be a foot product company, supposed to clean your feet. And
Clean your
Kumo in
feet.
Japanese, yep, it was like a foot scrub. Kumo means cloud, and me as in myself, like I am a cloud because your feet were supposed to be so soft. The problem was I failed so badly at making the website that I kind of gave up, but I kept the domain name. And it was really good because when you Googled it, I popped up first, and I was like, you know what? Let's take this sign and just put it here, and we're going to make the game with it.
That is brilliant.
Smart. That's smart.
So, I mean, it's free SEO, but if you go back in time, you're going to get some foot products that I invented back in the day.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, I love it.
Bear that in mind.
Yep.
And there's so many of these kind of things that come through that. I mean, my original channel, Wreck My Funeral, that became from, fun enough, long time ago, a chat with an old friend of mine that we had this idea about live streaming funerals and sending photography and videos for people that couldn't attend them. And this was so long before COVID. Everybody's laughed at it and said that's ridiculous, that would never take off. Imagine had we have set that up in COVID, that would have been huge. So
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a bit dark, but hey, money is money.
Very, very dark.
it's sharing a sentimental moment, in a good light or bad light. It's sharing that with friends and family, which to me is important. But yeah, so because that never happened, I then nicked the name and called it my dumping ground for all the stuff that I'm going to end up putting myself in the ground with. So yeah. So no, I like this idea that stuff has this kind of interesting history and like maybe a twist of direction where you find out something something needs to be
Behind the
slightly
scenes.
different or whatever. Yeah. So that's great. And your elevator pitch, I love
Okay,
this.
so
This is go on.
my
You do it.
elevator pitch is essentially if the game Slay the Spire and chess met, had a kid, and the kid was a little bit simple. So it's a simple game, but it has complexity and depth at times. It's deceivingly simple. So people see the mechanics and they think like, oh wow, because I can play this game very quickly, I don't think it's very hard. However, we've made sure to scale it up and really throttle in the difficulty. And because it's what's called, originally it was called an abstract strategy game. So abstract strategy games are games like chess, Go, shogi, I believe, is one of them, where there's a predetermined outcome. So chess, you can calculate all the potential games on Earth, and that's why computers are so good at chess. The original version of Kumome was an abstract strategy game, and it was one that I used to play with my dad when I was around early 20s, back in 2012, and I would play with him, maybe 2014, and I would play with him every day during lunch on his chess set because it was quick, it was fast, and it gave him that like chess itch without having to sit, because we'd never played Blitz or anything. He hated sitting for too long for chess, so this kind of filled that niche inside him, and over time I decided, you know what? Originally, I had tried to make it with a Chinese developer back in 2014. I was failing out of college, and I was like, I'm going to need to make money somehow. And I thought, I'm going to launch this game. Chinese developer went to China and disappeared. Who knows what happened to him? And I was like, we're going to put this on the back burner until I have the resources, or I want to make it good, and I want to make it well. Because I know that this game has potential. I know that this game can be very addicting, very fun. So I just want to make sure that when I put it, when I make it available to people, that it's the best version of itself that it can be. Because I don't want to shoot a blank and, lose such a good idea.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I want to show a clip of it because it's kind of hard to visualize it just talking about it, right? But so I got two clips off your YouTube channel. One was, I think, how to play, and the other one was your most recent one. So let me just start with how to play.
Yeah.
And
the core mechanics are fairly simple. It's just you have to capture your opponent on the board by surrounding him or her with stones, and they have to do the same. And every turn you move and you place a stone, and they place a stone until you can surround your opponent entirely. It's a pretty simple concept, right? But it scales up really, really well. And unlike chess and Go, it has one big advantage. It can scale up in terms of player number, which means that we can get up to 3, 4, even 8 players if you're really patient. So yeah, it's a little strategy game. Now, over time, we've decided to really grow it. We've added a co-op mode, so 2 versus 2, 2 versus multiple enemies. We've added a cards mode to make it more fun and also look at different revenue streams for us, because we would potentially want to sell card packs down the road. Some of the cards would do stuff like remove a mine next to you or a stone next to you, or bring one of your allies close to you, just to spice up the gameplay quite a bit. And yeah, it's been a really cool and awesome experience, to be honest, to see it go from nothing to this. And yeah, the feedback people have been giving me is the best compliment I keep getting is, oh, holy shit, this is a lot more addicting than I thought it was.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
It's true. When you start playing through the single player levels, you kind of get caught in there, and you're like, fuck, and you keep. Pardon my French. Are we allowed to curse in this? I apologize. darn.
Do as you want, mate. As long as you're comfortable.
But, gosh darn it, is what they tell me. And I remember the day I knew I was like, this is solid, was when I got a message from my friend. I apologize again, this is going to be a little vulgar, but he told me, he sent me a screenshot, and he said, "This level blows donkey dick." And then 2 hours later, he sends me another message saying, "Boom, I beat it." I knew it. And I was like, he spent 2 hours in a car, playing nonstop until he beat that one level. And I was like, well, there's my moneymaker.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, no, and again, I can totally relate with this because I was working my way through the levels, and there was one level, and it was probably pretty simple. It wasn't even too far in, but I kept doing the same thing and kept failing. And there was one where there was two, and it's
we both played a level, didn't we? We both played a couple of levels on it.
Well, we did. Well, yeah, we did with the pump lunch, didn't we? But so you if you get stuck, you know that there's going to be a route, but you just you have to figure it out, right? And you have to keep going, keep trying. If you don't, and like I say, it bugs you if you can't do it. So
exactly. It hits that one more turn kind of mentality, and I think people really underestimate how addicting these short game loops can be. I did a lot of research.
It certainly draws you in.
Yeah, exactly. It draws you in, and because it's so short, you don't mind relaunching it. It's not like such a long game, and people drain thousands of hours into games like this because of this idea of I'm going in fast. It's not just another game. It's only 30 seconds. Just another game. Next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. and you're like, oh shit, I have to wake up in 2 hours. I studied this from a game called Slay the Spire, and I just realized their matches are just perfectly timed. They're really short. You're doing really well. You don't want to stop. You just want to keep it going. So that's what we were really trying to pinpoint when we were developing our game.
What was the sorry?
Yeah, go on.
What was one of the sort of biggest challenges you had then with developing this game?
So, okay, I have this stance that every challenge, once you've overcome it, seems fairly easy. You're like, oh, God damn it, that was so stupid.
That's true.
So there's a lot of technical challenges that I faced because I'm not a game developer. I'm not a tech guy to begin with. That were really, really overwhelming in the beginning. Like uploading the game onto Play Store so people could test it took me a week, and it was just so stupid. And my mom was like, "I think I found the answer on ChatGPT," and turns out she did. And it was super simple. It was super simple. It was that I hadn't scrolled down on one of the menus while I was exporting and clicked yes. It was. But you see, so these little things tend to overwhelm you in the moment, but with retrospect, you find them to be really easy. However, I will say this. If I were to do it again, limit the scope from the start aggressively, because it's very easy to get caught up in your own passion. It's very easy to get caught up in your own ideas. Sometimes you need people to pull the hard brake and be like, listen, we need to launch. We need to be able to release a version. A medium pizza is better than the world's best pizza that hasn't ever been baked. You know what I mean? And that was something that I struggled with. And on top of that, finding synchronicity between my team members, it took us some getting used to, right? Because even my artists, so a lot of people have complimented the art in the game. And
it's fantastic.
Thank you very much, by the way. It was a long process, learning how to work with him, learning how to discuss what we're trying to get, and then him being like, "Oh, this is too tacky," and I'm like, "But tacky sells." Unfortunately, especially in the mobile landscape, people love colors, they love bright stuff, and he's like, I couldn't. Yeah.
It is that balance, isn't it? You want the game to look really nice, but it's actually got to sell.
Exactly, exactly, and sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry, that's what I was saying. It's you want it to sell. You can't spend months and months and months trying to get it into the most beautiful looking game in the world. And then you never launch.
Exactly. And sometimes it's also about, like, yes, some of these details are beautiful, but nobody's going to pay attention to them. You know what I mean? Or some of these colors might seem a little bit too much in your face, but remember, the medium that we're working with is a very small screen.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people have lowered brightness. So we really need to be in your face about it. Um, the other big thing that we are struggling with, I suppose, is so our game has two main branches right now. It's multiplayer and single player. The multiplayer has PvP, co-op, and it's its own beast. And the single player has about 200 to 300 levels that you can play on your own, and they're very fun. My biggest issue I've had right now is determining where am I going to put the resources once the money comes. I think that a lot of people are going to love the multiplayer. People that are in long distance relationships, for example, are going to love the co-op mode. Do I try to monetize that? That's going to mean some form of like resource allocation on my behalf. So that means either time, money, content creation is going to go into putting that into people's eyes. It's it's a big game of I have two children to feed, and I'm still determining which one I'm trying to feed because people like both, and it's hard to gauge. It's a difficult thing to gauge as to which one is more successful.
I mean, certainly multiplayer is something that we've had to have a lot of discussions around what we're doing, because it's something that if you've got multiplayer in your game, it just opens it up to a whole other audience.
Exactly.
But it throws up its own complications.
Exactly.
With trying to. But you've built that in from the beginning, right?
So yes, because originally my core concept was multiplayer. I had only played multiplayer. I had played against my dad. So I hadn't even conceptualized the idea of single player. I was like, we can add a few puzzles for people to do. And turns out, in the beginning, people didn't even click on the multiplayer because it wasn't even apparent. Like, it was just a little button, and they were like, there's no automatic matchmaking. So they were just plowing through the levels, and they were loving them. And I was like, oh shit, this is its own beast as well. So there's that, and then there's the whole, like, multiplayer is fun, but I try to be pragmatic about my game. There's only so many regular games that you could play, rounds, of my game, before it kind of is the same, right? I suppose some people are super passionate, like chess players and stuff like this, but I know that I need a hook to really captivate them on the long run, and that is why we ended up implementing the card system in the multiplayer, which isn't present in the single player, has so it permits an extra layer of depth in the gameplay, and it permits a level of synchronicity with if ever you're playing with other players. So if ever Rory and I are playing versus you and your son, for example, I can tell Rory, choose all your cards to be very aggressive type cards, like you can place 3 stones or you can move twice, and I'll take all the defensive cards so I can remove them from you and save you whenever you need help. And that adds a whole layer of complexity that's completely non-existent in the single player aspect of the game. So,
and you need that hook, don't you? If you're going to continue that to grow and sell.
For longevity, exactly.
Yeah,
for longevity.
Yeah.
And right now, it's also the good thing. One of the main reasons I did a very hard push for multiplayer is marketing. Marketing is super difficult in the indie game world, and I've become like a stringent, like, believer that at our level it's useless to put money into marketing it's useless to put money without putting up big quantities of money. You have to be very cautious as to how you spend your money, because Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, they'll eat your money without even thinking twice about it, and you're gonna get maybe 4 or 5 downloads. So I'm trying to push for things like multiplayer events, tournaments, live streaming tournaments of people who are playing against each other. I tried to organize a Harvard versus MIT tournament 2 versus 2, just to scratch like their egos, see who's smarter, who can pick up a new game faster. And my dream tournament, like this is the pinnacle for me, would be a USA versus China and India versus Pakistan tournament, and then winner takes on each other. I think that would be astronomical.
I really would. It's a very good angle to kind of get it out there. I'm curious. So the Harvard versus MIT is how
it was in the works, but you see, I talking about shooting blanks earlier. I reached out to Harvard's chess team, and they accepted to try the game, but I went faster than the developers could give me a prototype. And then it was yeah, I know. It was a dropped ball.
Yeah,
it was really stupid. So I'm gonna try to relaunch it. I'm relentless in this. I think I'm also gonna do for Valentine's Day a long distance relationships match. So couples versus each other.
Nice.
And I think that could be a little fun and kind of cozy little event.
That's a good shout.
Sorry?
That's a good shout.
Yeah, I think it could be really fun. They could just have a little bit of fun together, and maybe break up if ever they lose. No, but I think it would be really, really cool. And I keep looking for these, like, marketing-wise, PvP has been a godsend. Like, I want to do... I think I told Rory about this. We taught ChatGPT and DeepSeek how to play Kumome.
Yes, I was going to ask you about this, yes.
Yeah, it was super interesting to see how both of them learned differently, played differently, and adapted differently. And I made a few posts about it on Reddit, and the people were super interested, intrigued, and asked about like our methodologies as to how we teach ChatGPT. So I'm also taking a sort of academic route as to how to teach live language models how to play games. We taught it from scratch. Like we said, hey, these are the rules. This is how you play. And with the latest version of ChatGPT, it played a full game against us and nearly beat us. So, and at the end, this is the part that blew our minds. At the end, it was able to analyze its performance as to why it lost, what it should do better next time, and how to adapt its strategies to essentially not lose again.
It is mind blowing, isn't it?
That is amazing.
That element of the timeline we're currently in is just brilliant. But when you're doing this at the moment, are you doing this just literally just telling it what moves have just happened, and then it's giving you a grid or something to copy, or have you actually made an integration?
Okay. So here's the two crazy things. For the ChatGPT and the DeepSeek tests, because we also did one with something called Claude. I'll get to that in a minute. With ChatGPT and DeepSeek, we told it the rules and told it to display a grid and have our pieces be represented on this grid. It was able to play, and every time we submitted a move, it would move our piece onto the grid, one square, and put it blah, blah, blah. On ChatGPT 4.0, it was playing kind of stupid, but it held on for a few turns. On DeepSeek, with the reasoning mode, it played really well in the beginning, but it couldn't hold its ability to play, and within 5 turns it started cheating because it didn't remember the rules. And I was like, typical China. No, I'm kidding. No, because ChatGPT cheated too. So honestly, those Americans too. But eventually, with ChatGPT 03, the biggest model, the latest model, 03 Mini, it was able to reason, understand the rules much quicker than the other versions, and play through to completion, and determine that it had lost, which is already a big step. Like, oh, I can't play anymore. I lost. Why did I lose? Okay, I lost because of this. What can I do in the future? And at one point, we played another game. Mid-game, we ask it, what do you think your chances are of winning? And it goes, based on my current positioning, I think my odds of winning are about 35 to 40% if we both play ideally. But I'm not out of the game. There's ways for me to catch up and blah, blah, blah. However, when you distract ChatGPT it loses everything, and the next turn it cheated. It was like, you know what? I'm winning. I don't give a shit.
That's amazing. So is it in your pipeline now to try and actually make an integration so that anyone could
So
technically do it?
Here's what the crazy part is. We went onto this basically an LLM called Claude that can program. It's very good for programming.
Mm-hmm.
And we told Claude, we want to make a game. These are the rules. This is how you play. Rory, can I send you something on Discord?
Of course you can.
Yeah, and it can be shown, I mean. On,
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So we taught Claude how to play the game, and within maybe an hour, it gave us this. I'm sending it to you right now. Okay, it's sending. It was able to recreate a version of the game that was entirely playable as a file. And it had an AI. The AI, or bot, I should say. The bot was not very good. I sent it to you.
Yep, that's about to play now.
Okay.
Possibly. Oh, it's in the background. There it is.
Okay. And it was crazy because that meant that in the span of an hour, we were able to create from scratch a game, which was our game. But we were able to create it from scratch. And what did that tell me? It's that with these new models, we can add modes where implementing into the game methods of learning how to play better. ChatGPT will tell you, this wasn't such a good move. We recommend doing this down the road. Your likelihood of winning is pretty low. This is what we recommend doing when you're facing odds like this. We can also have it create new modes. For example, on some of the maps, there's ice that make you slip. But we can directly talk to Claude and say, oh, maybe what about a new mode where on the map you put lava, which drops stones on the thing. And now all of a sudden, it's able to implement that. So I think this new wave of LLM technology is really gonna, I mean, it's gonna be a game changer for people, for creatives in particular, who don't necessarily have the technical skills. But I'm watching right now your stream on YouTube. You see that entire thing, that whole interface, everything made from scratch, just from us telling it, please make a game where these are the rules. We did nothing in that. No programming whatsoever.
That's just crazy. That really is.
Yeah. And it was worrying because you're like, well, I just spent a year making a game, and in an hour, it just made the same one.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, that does obviously it raises all sorts of weird and wonderful philosophical kind of things. There's a lot of people that are anti-AI in sort of all forms. Personally, I'm really for it. I think it's one of those that, it's the person that the person that doesn't embrace it and find a way to use it as a tool. That's that's how you're going to stay on top of it. If you just fight against it, you're just going to get left behind. And
it's too useful. It's too useful as a tool to not be used by society as a whole. So you kind of have to deal with the fact that it's here to stay. It's like saying, I don't like phones, I don't like television. Yes, some people will say society was a mistake, but at this point, you gotta learn to live around this. And realistically, like I said, imagine being able to create an interface for a game. You have an idea, you kind of just want to test it out, see how it works, core mechanics. In the span of an hour or two, you got something going.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's in that respect, it's like 3D printing. If you want to quickly prototype something, put something together, just quickly throw a model together, stick it out the printer, and it gives you that feeling, right, okay, now this is going to work. Then you take it off, and then you do it properly. Exactly. That's exactly how that can be utilized right now, just to sort of help you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not going to get all the culmination of all the elements together. The first thing that hit me. Oh, there goes my focus. The first thing that hit me when I first installed the game, it was actually the music. The music choice. To me, it's so perfect. I mean, it gave me Crash Bandicoot kind of vibes with the way it went in, and then when you're in a game, it's kind of really chilled out. It's like really kind of zen. and then as soon as you come back out into the menu, it kind of perks back up, and it kind of almost like wakes you up. It's
Yeah.
And like I say, it's stuff like that. That's come from a specific approach. I'm sure of it, right? So
I have to add a little thing. I might have misplaced one of the music files. So that soundtrack is technically supposed to be in the quiet music, the really peaceful. It's supposed to be in another world that's Japanese themed. I just forgot to put it. So that's a mistake on my behalf.
Well, if it works, keep
that
it.
is what you call a happy accident, right?
Exactly.
Fantastic. So, excuse me. So yeah, I just wanted as well though. So just quickly, just touch a little bit on the revenue model that that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about how are you doing this?
Okay, so I did a lot of research before I even considered any form of revenue model. I went on this website called Free to Play Bible. I highly recommend it because they talk about everything that's, especially in the mobile world, like free to play is unfortunately the only successful method. When you have a price point and you're selling an app, most people will just skip the game altogether. I remember actually the day I interviewed you, Rory, if I'm not mistaken, I also interviewed a guy who made a game called Afterlife, and his game got featured by Apple, which is
I remember that. Yep.
Huge thing. That's a game changer for most people. But he said despite that, it just brought a few $1,000s, and it was a big feature. He won finalist as Apple's Game Choice of the Year, which is massive. But he said the price point blocked people off. And free to play, when people go free to play, what ends up happening is the sheer volumetric downloads compensate for the lack of money, because if you have in-app purchases, you're guaranteed around 3 to 5% tend to convert. And because all of a sudden you're getting 100,000 downloads as opposed to 3,000 downloads, then you're able to just make up for it financially. So what did we do? We made sure of two things: that money was not necessary for the gaming experience, but that money was convenient for the game experience. What's it called? Candy Crush is really, really, really good at this. They've spent, I think the majority of their budget goes into level design, so that they can create levels that are just frustrating enough that make you pay. We created items that help you cheat through some of the levels. If ever you're struggling on a level a little bit too much, you can go to the frog shop, and the frog will sell you for 99 cents or $3 or whatever you're willing to buy a few items that help you beat a level. We wanted to make sure that this is not available in the multiplayer, because you don't want to lose against somebody who's richer. And that's just, we already do that enough in the day-to-day. And I'm tired of that, Elon Musk. But so we wanted to make sure that the multiplayer wasn't impacted by this whatsoever. However, in the multiplayer, we decided to monetize through potentially selling certain modes. So, for example, co-op would be available if one of the two people have it, or certain skins, cosmetics. They tend to sell okay on multiplayer. Now, I'm fully aware that we haven't optimized the revenue stream yet. My strategy right now is to get as many players going, potentially launch a second fundraiser if necessary, but I don't think it'll be necessary, and just keep growing and updating and hiring experts as to how we can optimize our revenue model, how we can launch updates, how we can make certain levels just hard enough. All levels, I have a mantra, all levels need to be beatable without a single item, but I will definitely make them a little harder as time goes on.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. If you can find that sweet spot of exactly as you mentioned before, of just there,
Yep.
but a little bit frustrating, then keep you coming back, and then I imagine that a lot of people would just I'll pay a bit just to get past this bit,
I think AI
and
might
that's the
be the
hook.
game changer.
That's the hook, isn't it, for that?
Yeah. No, but sorry, I really I want to stress this. I think AI might be the game changer in this because you can eventually down the road have AI adapt the bot intelligence to make things slightly more difficult later on or slightly easier earlier on, or if the person is struggling too hard, let them win once in a while so that they don't feel too frustrated. There's a book, I keep calling it Dark Habits, but I think I'm incorrect about the name. I'll have to send you the link. That studies essentially how big tech has really honed in on hooking people in through certain things. They've even used a casino in Las Vegas to study people's reward systems, reward pathways, and understand how people function, like at a neurological level, to really optimize the addictiveness of their platforms.
Okay. No, that definitely sounds interesting. It doesn't look like it is called Dark Habits, though. I'm just having a look.
No,
See
I
if
don't
I could
think it's
find
dark. I keep calling it that, but I don't think that's what it is. I'll have to find it. But yeah, I'll find it and I'll send you the title of the book.
Yeah, no, great. So yeah, we're coming to the end now. So very firstly, goes without saying, thank you so much for coming on.
Of
super
course.
super.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem at all. Like really, really interesting. And like I say, I think that this is a fantastic looking little game. Now, what I think. I think we want to make sure that everybody knows what to do right now, because you can find it on the App Store, right?
You can find it on the App Store and on the Play Store. And if you just go on Kumome.com, which I originally was a foot product store, but is now a gaming website. There's two links, one for the App Store, one for the Play Store. And if you guys would like, anybody who's listening or watching, just message me directly. You can contact at kumome.com or on Reddit. I think it's I like my name 21. You can message me and I can give you guys early access. So the game is coming out in 19 days. So
that's the 28th of February, right?
Yeah, 28th of February, exactly. By the way, the book was called Hooked, Hooked, by Nir Eyal, Nir Nir space Eyal.
Got it. Yep.
It's called How to Build Habit-Forming Products.
Nice. I'll stick a link to that in the description, just because that looks like it could be an interesting one.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I'm just like I say, I just want to make sure that definitely everybody knows how they can get hold of that ready for the 28th.
And we plan on having a PC version. It's just not sure when. And there will be an updated iPad version. The iPad can run the game, but we want to make a slightly prettier iPad version.
I get, yeah, because I did try it on the iPad. It's just emulating the iPhone, essentially, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have some backdrops. And my biggest thing right now is once the revenue comes in, the biggest priority is going to be a huge UX UI overhaul. Make sure that people understand how to play better, have a funner time starting the game, less like clunky things, and then marketing. I think it'll be really, really cool. I like I said, you, Rory, and I are part of the indie games community, and I keep preaching this. We need to really band together, because we don't all have the same budgets as big marketing studios who are willing to spend $50,000 a day on advertisement. So we have to weaponize our numbers and really push each other. So, for example, if your game's coming out, we all have to talk about it on our own platforms. I think this is the way to go. I think a rising tide raises all boats, as they say.
Ah, nice. The sentiment I completely agree with entirely. That's, it's exactly what we're trying to do here. So I really like that. Now, and you've reminded me there was one more thing I wanted to ask you, and it's why I was struggling earlier because I couldn't remember. But I think a really, really interesting thing to find out from someone that's been doing it a long time is, what is the one single piece of advice that you would give to somebody that is starting out a journey in game development? What is the one key, most important thing that you would tell someone jumping into it now? Tricky, huh?
Good luck, have fun. I would say, okay. Humor aside, if I was to give a one piece of really like clear advice, be realistic with yourself, but be ambitious with your dreams. So be pragmatic about what you can program. Be pragmatic about what you can achieve on your budget, but at the same time, don't be afraid of having lofty goals of I'm going to reach Harvard's chess team, because these things can happen with enough work. So don't be afraid of dreaming big in terms of what you want your product to be, but be pragmatic about what you can do. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but don't try to launch a Ferrari as your first car. Really learn how cars work, learn how pistons work, really get into the nitty gritty, and then have fun with the whole thing. Go. I'm telling you, I'm trying to do long distance relationship tournaments, hoping we get some fights going on. I want to do. I'm trying to organize with the Indie Games Discord a Twitch tournament, and my big final tournament that I'm hoping gets televised: India, Pakistan, China, USA. We can even do 2v2 because India and the USA are close allies, and Pakistan and China are very close allies. We even wanted to do a DeepSeek versus ChatGPT tournament. I think that would be also pretty fucking cool to see
That would
whose
be.
AI is smarter. But clearly, right now, none of them. They keep cheating.
Who's the better at the cheating?
Brilliant.
Yeah, who's better at cheating? That's the real question.
Oh, fantastic! No, honestly, eloquent, beautiful, wonderful answer, and
you
yeah,
very
couldn't agree more. It's yeah, absolutely. So, Yannis, thank you so much for joining us today. And
It was a pleasure, and thank you guys for hosting this. This is going to be awesome, and given the quality of Who Is Abby and how beautiful that game is, I can't wait to see more of what you're coming up with next, because I know it's going to be fucking sick. Pardon my French.
No, I am hoping it will be.
It certainly is.
Yeah, I know so.
But yes, definitely. I do hope you'll come back after your game is released and join us in another episode and update us on how you got on.
And I can even give you unless like I go completely broke, but I'm gonna be really willing to open up about the financials of like how everything worked, how marketing wise, what was the best return on investment, like the nitty gritty details. I think this could, because we need to share this stuff with each other, the data behind what works, what doesn't work, what was really surprising. Like for me, Facebook was a really pleasant surprise as to how much people responded and interacted, especially Facebook groups. Reddit is very hit or miss. Some communities get really upset that they say anything. You like look at them and they're like, "You suck," and I'm like, "I'm sorry. I just wanted to say hi."
You need to be thick skin. You got to be thick skinned for Reddit.
Oh my god!
Yeah, very thick skin for Reddit.
Right before I logged in, I had shared the fact that Claude was able to make my game, and I showed like the two different models, and the first thing somebody said was, "Not surprising for such a piece of shit game."
Oh.
I'm like, Jesus, why are you so bitter, man?
It's that's bitterness at the end of the day. Yeah. So. Yeah. No.
So, guys.
And it isn't. So yeah, that's one thing.
Thank you.
Like I say,
Thank you,
please, anybody watching, do go and get it. Like I say, you'll be able to play it at the end of the month, and it is really addictive. It's a really good little game.
Thank you.
I keep calling it a little game. I shouldn't call it a little game. That's unnecessarily.
Well,
demeaning.
you think little because it's a mobile game.
It's exactly that. Yeah,
right? Mobile has its stigma. I'm aware. Trust me. I get called. Everybody says it's shit, and they're super concerned because it's mobile. And then once they try, they tell me, "Holy fucking shit, I love it." So.
To be fair, it's a game that looks like what the adverts will be, right? So there's a winner there already.
Exactly.
So, right. Anyway, great.
Right,
Thank
guys.
you very much, Yannis, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, Yannis.
It was a pleasure. Good luck, guys. Bye-bye.
Cheers, buddy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right. So, thank you very much to Yannis for joining us. Thank you very much to Steve. We've come to the end.
And wasn't that a very good? That was a very good discussion.
That was a wonderful discussion.
Yes.
I think it was really interesting. He raises some really interesting points. I think his journey is
I think
brilliant.
you switched me off, by the way. But...
I don't think I might have switched you off on that meeting, but no, you're fine. We can still hear you over here.
Right. That's good then.
One of the things for the next episode is I'm going to just tweak the tech a little bit on the setup. Like I say, in my brain, this was a perfect setup, and I think we were close, but the problem I'd forgotten was because you were in that meeting.
Yes. Yeah.
You were coming out twice, and that's why they were calling you Echoey.
Echoey, yeah.
So I'll try and fix that for next time.
We're learning, aren't we?
Yeah. So sorry about that. But yeah, fantastic. So next time's guest is to be confirmed, but I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be very, very interesting. So make sure you do subscribe so that you get the notification about that.
2 weeks' time.
2 weeks' time, we'll be back, all being
here.
well. And
we'll have lots to talk about in 2 weeks.
We will,
time
because
about our own,
we will have announced
our own project, won't we?
Yeah. No, so that'll be really exciting. So yes,
Exciting times.
Sign up to that mailing list and get your free gift sticker pack.
I literally want that gift sticker pack.
It is cool, actually.
It's pretty cool. That's what I'm saying. It is pretty cool.
I like using them instead of just standard emojis. I think it's more fun.
It's free, so
and it's a freebie.
And it's a freebie.
See, that's it. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the next time.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.
Been a pleasure.